Welcome to Through the Table Podcast with Brian, JL, Tom, Rick, and Russ.
He's at a place. He's in an unknown place. It's all blurred out.
I need 3 soft tacos.
Well, it's a retail environment of some sort.
Walmart.
Oh yeah, that's definitely a
Walmart.
retail. Is it a Walmart or is he's out in California?
No, it's an open ceiling. I don't think it's a Walmart.
That could be like a Fry's or something, like one of those rando places we don't get up here in the Northeast.
Costco. It looks pretty big wherever he is.
It does. Trying to figure out what we see in the back. I think Brian. I think you're right. I think
it's a Costco.
Costco or BJ's.
I need free samples.
Well,
I think out west it's mostly Costco's.
I need
if he runs into
pretzels.
Joe there, then we know it's a Costco because that's where he works.
All I know is all of us look like we're in standard definition, and Russ right now is like true HD.
He's in like 3D.
4K.
It's the greatest thing ever.
That's
I'm in
wild.
Whole Foods. I'm in Whole Foods.
Oh,
Whole Foods. Wow, that's a huge
right.
one.
Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a first for the pod. I'll be at Chuck E. Cheese next week during the podcast.
You'll find me in the ball pit.
That's where we're doing it from. Let's go to Rick in the ball pit.
It's all blurred out.
All of a sudden you see all these little kids jumping on him.
Jason's chasing him.
Jason's in the pit too.
Say thank you. Say thank you.
I thought Hogan was jumping in the ball pit.
If you ever die, I will do a podcast from your grave.
Thank you, Jason.
You're welcome.
Oh boy.
I don't know what's going on in Raw right now. Or it's SmackDown. What night is tonight?
Friday.
Oh, Madcap Moss.
Of course, because he's your favorite.
Thanks to Andre the Giant winner.
Andrew the Giant winner.
Andrew the Giant, yes.
Andrew the
Get it right.
Giant.
He won the Andrew the Giant Battle Royal.
Speaking of Andrew the Giant, I watched Young Rock this week, and man, we talked last week about, or it was last week or the week before, about how sometimes they have like really good looking portrayals of some of the wrestlers that they're trying to be like.
Yeah, last week, yep.
This week, Hillbilly Jim looked good. Gene Okerlund looked good. I don't know what he did with Ric Flair.
You'd probably sue him if it was too close.
This guy was terrible.
You know who they should have got? They should have got Will Ferrell from Eastbound and Down when he did.
Yes.
Oh my God, that was the best Ric Flair without being Ric Flair.
That's true.
Ric Flair probably wanted to do it.
They actually put that in the they put the Will Ferrell one in WWE Evil in that little documentary series that they did.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, the Ric Flair version. They referenced it.
Oh, okay.
That's hilarious. I have to watch that. I started watching the first one with the Hogan one's pretty good.
Yeah, Hogan one's good, but you know what I hate about what they do, and I know shocker, I'm going to complain about something the WWE does. What I hate what they do with their documentaries, especially when it comes to like Hogan and people like that, it turns into another reminder of the Monday Night Wars, and there's always that little But the WWE, beat them in the Monday Night Wars and ended up buying out the competition.
Yeah.
Dude, we get it. You won. Congrats.
Yeah, no, they got it. That's, I mean, they had that was like one of the first things that they had on the WWE network was the Monday Night Wars. Remember that? They were just like, we kicked their ass. Haha. This network, the WWE network.
It's no WCW network.
Right.
Yeah, every single time. And I'm just like, cool. Great.
Well, yes, WWE though, they got to put their spin on that stuff, Even that Ruthless Aggression documentary, when they're like, yeah, we just decided to just change our name. We decided WWE. It's like, no, you guys got sued and had to change your name. And it's like, no, it was time for a change.
Yeah, right.
We decided to get the F out. That's all. And speaking of stuff that WWE is producing, I watched the latest Broken Skull sessions with Bubba Ray. Bubba Ray's fit. Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah,
Bubba Ray's he's awesome.
He's kind of full of himself lately, though.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
But he comes off kind of, I mean, he's always been like that.
Yeah,
He comes off kind of humble in this.
Really.
I have to watch it.
It was really good. I thought it was really, he was cool.
Go ahead, Tom.
Oh no, go for it.
I was just saying, I'm a little behind on those Broken Skull sessions. I think the last one I just watched the DDP one, which I'm not exactly sure how old that is or how many is before, like the Bubba Ray Dudley one. But that one was pretty good, the DDP one. I didn't realize how long he's been in the business.
Oh, forever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like mid 80s.
Yeah, he was a manager before he wrestled for many years in AWA.
Yeah, it was funny.
He didn't learn how to wrestle till he was like 36.
Yeah, right. Late
Yeah.
30s. Yep. Mm-hmm.
And like he was even when he got brought into the AWA, he had no idea how to wrestle. He cut a promo. You know what I mean? Just him and like because I guess he owned like a club or a bar or something.
A nightclub and a bar. Yeah.
Yeah, he had like all these like hot broads with him and stuff like that, and he just started cutting all these promos and like whoever was in charge was like, oh man, we got to bring this guy in. And
Vern Gagne.
And Vern was like, we got to bring him in. And then
I guess a lot of the wrestlers would go to his place after the shows were over, and he'd be in gimmick and start doing stuff, trying to get into the AWA. And the guys thought he was that good that they brought him in for like a tryout.
It was his car for Rhythm and Blues too.
Yeah.
Yeah, WrestleMania 6.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Right.
I think that's funny too. Just like they showed him, he was doing play-by-play at some point with the WWE. He did like a trial with them. He was doing color.
Oh, really?
With like Lord Alfred Hayes.
Oh wow.
And it's just, and I'm like sitting there, I can't believe he's been in the business that long. Like it just, you know what I mean? My first like really like memories of DDP were like Vinny Vegas. You know what I mean? Like that Diamond Stud. Like that kind of stuff.
Which, by the way, I always forget that Nash and Hall were part of the DDP group at one point.
Right. Mm-hmm. Before they were Nash and Hall, obviously, or the versions of them.
Yeah.
He wasn't Scott Hall from the AWA.
No.
Cowboy Scott Hall.
Uh-huh.
Looked completely different.
Yep.
Had like a perm going.
Yep.
Had this like Magnum
Mustache.
PI look.
The Magnum PI mustache.
Yeah,
and
the
perm.
L
Yep.
mustache.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He looked completely different. Sounded different too.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what happened to his voice over the years. I know one point he thought he was Spanish, but it's just like overall voice was weird.
I feel like that's what it was though. I feel like that's why his voice is like, his voice was as bad, like in the late, not bad, but like it was super deep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he changed how he spoke.
But that's because of what it was. He was probably speaking like, Razor Ramon most of his life.
Right.
And that's just, it is kind of weird though when you would hear him talk out of gimmick and it's like, whoa.
Right.
If you listen to him back when he first showed up to the AWA, because for some reason it's been popping up on my YouTube when I'm finding something on the elliptical, and I'll watch a couple of things, and it's like, who that? Like, I know we look like that. I had an old Scott Hall figure from the AWA,
Mhm.
but like you hear him talk, it's like that's not him.
No,
That's like a
no.
normal sounding everyday guy.
Mhm.
What? He's now like, well, turned into like 6 octaves lower than that.
Yeah, and I just think that's just from talking like Razor Ramon for so long that's
I'm
what
sure.
happens.
Mhm.
Speaking of old timey wrestling and like old school wrestling, I follow this page on Instagram. It's like Johnny.ig wrestling, something like that. And he posts like just clips from everywhere.
Sure.
But he posted one with Bam Bam Bigelow hitting like a senton on a jobber and like just completely mangling him.
Uh-huh.
And but like it was always weird to me, like even as a kid and even now just watching old Bam Bam, like Bam Bam in Japan, he used to team with Vader.
Yeah.
Yep.
All the time. Yep.
And it's like they were relatively the same size.
Mhm.
But for some reason, I like Vader to me was like 600 pounds and Bam Bam Bigelow was like
Yes.
180
Uh-huh.
pounds. Like
Because he wore it better.
he was like the lightest
Yeah.
big dude I've ever, and it was just, I mean, granted, he was doing the moonsaults and the cartwheels and just even the senton that he did, like in the video I saw, it was just, he just went up so light and it was just, he was so light on his feet. And
He's super athletic.
He just always seemed like he was way lighter than he really was.
He
Like-
carried it differently. That's why. Like, he was the same size as Vader. Vader could do a lot of those moves, but Vader just looked like a big guy, like a heavy guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it was maybe flames or slimming. I don't know. But he just carried it differently.
He did. Yeah. It's just like just watching the 10-second clip. I was like, oh my God, it's he like murdered that jobber, but it was like at the same time, it's like, what was it that bad? Because he just looks so light.
Mhm.
They don't really have a lot of big guys nowadays that can actually work. Like, you know what I mean? There's like, I mean, Keith Lee.
He can.
I mean, but
He's pretty big.
Yeah, I was gonna say this. I mean, there's like Ace Romero and stuff like that, but
Right.
like
Right.
he's
The $1 million armed beer.
the who?
The $1 million
million-
armed beer.
His Bevere's not like 375 pounds or anything like that.
Right, and he's more tall. Like I'm
Yeah.
talking like, I'm talking like a big boss man or a
There's not a
something
lot of
like
huge
that.
guys like that.
Hakeem.
Hakeem was same thing.
That's what I say, Hakeem.
Earthquake could just work circles around people too.
Yeah.
Same thing. Like he looked
Probably depends on the big guy if they really wanted to try to be a professional wrestler or they were just in the
Right.
profession to make money. Because I think there's two different ways. If you're a big guy and you're just in there to make money, you don't really care if you're good or not.
right.
But if you're a pro, you want to be good. You're gonna learn how to work first and then
Right.
use that to your advantage.
You know who's a good big guy that I completely forgot about just because I don't watch him because he's in Impact is what was his name? Bronson Reed, whatever.
Yeah.
Jonah Rock.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He's amazing, and I feel like
He's been really good in New Japan Strong.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, he's a big boy. That's true. I forgot about him too.
So did Vince.
Yeah.
How dare you?
From bringing him up to do all those dark matches to just cutting him.
Yep.
North American champ.
I'd like to see him try to go somewhere bigger than Impact. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if there's really room for him in AEW.
He's got a contract with New Japan, so he'll be working there kind of like Cobb does, more regularly there than anywhere else.
See, I'd like that because then you can put him in the G1 if you
Yep.
really want to.
I'm sure he probably will be, because I'm sure the next show they're doing over there, he'll be there. His Impact uses him, but they don't really do a ton with him because they know he's got the New Japan commitments first. That's a good point. The real big guys, there aren't a ton of huge guys anymore.
Right. I mean,
I
there's
don't really think Paul White's considered a full-time guy anymore. He works maybe a couple times a year now.
See, but like same thing with Paul White. Like there's like the giant big guys, and then there's like the big guys. Like like there was always a difference between like Andre and say like Yokozuna. You know what I mean? There's like a
right.
Like there's the giants, like even that you got like the Olmos and Aziz and stuff like that.
Yeah, those they're just tall guys.
Right.
Satnam Singh.
Yeah. God, I don't know what they're doing with him. Like I don't know. I don't know.
It's gonna be a lot of Ring of Honor stuff with them.
We mentioned earlier how the WWE hasn't mentioned once about Veer being the $1 million arm. Meanwhile, in AEW, they can't stop mentioning how Satnam Singh played for the NBA.
Well, that's still when they debuted him. It was like, that's that basketball guy.
They did it again this past Wednesday too when they showed him. It was like, this guy was in the NBA. He played for the Dallas Mavericks.
That Utah, that video they have on YouTube, they have over 20 million views in India from it.
Wow.
Just for that one video with them beating up Joe and all that.
So it's
crazy.
just in
20
one
million
city.
views. Yep. Just in country of India. Yep.
So so that's what that is. It's like a Jinder Mahal situation.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm. Well,
they
got that new deal with Eurosport, and that's a company that Time Warner owns and all that, or Discovery, whatever you want to call them now, and they want to push it. So AEW being on in there with an Indian wrestler featured is big for them.
Is there a town in India called Chicago? Because the AEW will be there in moments.
They can make one probably.
It's right down the street from Blood Oil Money, Saudi Arabia.
You just take another left.
Right.
Gotta go through Kuwait. Don't stay too long. You might occupy it.
Oh boy.
It's a 31-year-old joke, folks.
Finally landed it.
Tom's a little slow tonight. His dementia's kicking in.
It is. I'm sundowning.
Sundown.
Tom Labonte.
Oh, fuck.
Wow.
Oh no.
You're getting a new gimmick, Tom.
His real wrestling last name is actually Roberts. It's Tom Roberts, Kirk's brother.
The cowboy.
Cowboy Tom Roberts.
I'd watch a match or two. I'd give it a shot.
Only if they're in Chicago.
Yeah, I mean that. Well, then 3 matches.
So AEW Dynamite Wednesday. How many more times are they gonna do the Sting gimmick where Sting wears a Sting mask and then takes the Sting mask off to reveal Sting is the real Sting?
He's done that like 3 different decades now.
He does it all the time.
Yep.
I feel like he does it at his house. Like he just wakes up. He's like, what up?
He probably suggested that, and Tony doesn't want to say no to him, so he's just like, whatever you want to do, Sting.
Oh, he freaks out his dog every day at all. Just woo.
The dog doesn't even react anymore. Like, yeah, whatever. I go back to chewing my bone. I don't even care.
As soon as I saw that with this, I was just like, oh my God, he's gonna do it again.
And Tony Schiavone's all crazy. That's Sting.
Oh, freaking loves that. He loves Sting.
He just has to scream his name 3 or 4 times a match.
The best part though is he came like dressed out like my dad. You know what I mean? Like he was just wearing like this weird sweatshirt, and some windbreaker pants, and some Sting paint.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
A backwards hat.
Yep. Right.
Are you just chilling at the Whole Foods?
Yes. There's a bar that serves food, and
Whole Foods.
Whole Foods, yes.
It's a different world out west.
They have some On Fridays they have for 20 oysters you get for like $12. So
Wow, nice,
there.
good deal.
Russ, I'll eat oysters high as a kite in my basement. Just different lives right now.
Good stuff.
But yeah, they do that out here too. My buddy, went one time went for his birthday dinner at I think Whole Foods or Hannaford's. It was one of them, and he was just like, "Yeah, they got a
Hannaford's.
restaurant there." Yeah, I think it's Hannaford. I don't know, whatever one's in Burlington.
It's right next to the frozen food section.
Yeah, they have like a restaurant. He was all excited at his birthday dinner.
Pretty close to where they make the pizza.
Wait, not Wegmans. Are you thinking of Wegmans?
Wegmans, that's what.
Oh,
That's
okay.
the one. Yeah.
They're all fancy.
Yeah, they are. Mm-hmm.
Good old Wegmans.
They have TVs. I could probably have them turn on SmackDown in a little bit.
So what else is on Rampage tonight? There's Ishii, Cole. There's
The Garcia Kingston match there you talked about already.
okay.
Trying to remember what there's a couple of other matches. I'm not remembering right now.
Was it Jade? Maybe Jade and
Oh
somebody?
yeah, Jade and
Right. Maria Shafir.
Yep, you're right.
Yeah.
Ryder
When is
Strong's
when is the FTR match when they're going against each other in the Owen?
That's a Dynamite.
next Wednesday.
That'll
They
be
said
fun.
that was their idea, and they'll never break up. So they're another one that, like the New Day, that says they'll never break up.
See, which is I kind of like that, and that's another reason why I do. I'm starting to become a fan of them, and I like the fact that as even though they know that deep down, like nobody really I can't say nobody really likes tag wrestling, but it's not the same as like the 80s. You know what I mean? They were
Mm-hmm.
it's like I know that they're trying to bring it back to that point. You can, I guess, make a case that it's like there are enough like tag teams out there right now that are like, any promotion can have a really great tag division. But I do like the fact that they're just, that's it. We're going to be a tag team. You know what I mean? Where that's, because you always hear like if you're not trying to be world champion, what's the point of being in the business, blah, 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 all that stuff.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, I just like that. They're just like, no, we're a team, and that's, they have no problem.
I couldn't
Being
see it as solo people.
No,
though. Like,
definitely not.
It would go to a certain point, and that's it.
Right. Or getting new partners or something that would look weird too.
Yeah.
That's the thing though too. Like, I feel like if they were to go back to WWE, WWE is notorious for doing, like they sign a tag team, and then within months that tag team's no longer a thing, and
Yep.
One of them's either released or they split them up and they just flounder around, and I don't know. I feel like with the freedom that they're allowed to have now,
Mm-hmm.
I can't see them wanting to go back to WWE anytime soon,
Not for a few years at least.
unless they get some like crazy like Cody contract or whatever. That's supposedly some like wonky unreal thing or whatever.
Yeah, I don't see it happening.
I was thinking the other day, speaking of Cody, is like he obviously knows a lot that's going on or that has been going on in AEW. I wonder if he knew of any like future storylines that maybe he would tell Vince or something like that, and then end up someone on WWE television actually doing something before AEW does it.
If he left in good terms, I don't think he would do that.
I mean, and I kind of feel like that's why isn't that speculation why he left was because
They weren't telling him.
he wasn't really.
He was only caring about himself at the end, just suggesting things for his gimmick and his character, not other people, apparently. Where at the beginning he was doing all a bunch of stuff with everybody.
Right.
But who knows what the real story is.
Did you see that thing where basically he said that one of the reasons why he left was because he kind of pigeonholed himself in AEW.
I heard that now.
Saw that.
Mm-hmm. And he's wrestled everybody he's wanted to in AEW, and there's no one left for him to wrestle.
But yet he never wrestled CM Punk or Bryan Danielson or Hangman or
right. But he already wrestled
Kenny
everybody
Omega
he wanted to. But he wrestled everyone he wanted to. Which just plays off whatever.
That banger of a feud with. So he's like, I'm fucking done. He's like, I'm done. WWE, bring me back, baby.
Well, he also couldn't feud with some people that were in the title picture because he had that thing where he couldn't get the world title.
Absolutely, but I mean, if I'm not mistaken, that was his choice. Right?
That was his choice. Yeah, that was all him. Yep.
And it's wrestling. There's always ways around that.
Oh yeah, I mean, especially when he leaves WWE in 3 years and comes back to AEW, then he'll be able to win the AEW world title.
No, he signed a new contract, so that part's null and void now.
Exactly.
Yeah. Do you think if he ever went back to AEW, he would regain that VP status?
No
way. Just a worker. A worker. Kenny Omega's taken over his role, basically.
That's probably got to eat at him a little bit, huh?
Well, yeah. Kenny was hurt, so he just took over all his responsibilities. So he said, why not? I'm going to be around every week. I might as well do it while I'm rehabbing. And I guess Kenny's loving it.
It's awesome.
He's been working with all the Japan stuff, doing the deal with DDT and New Japan. Omega was the one involved with all that.
All the video game stuff too, which is apparently coming out this year.
September, they're rumored right now for September.
That should be very interesting to see what that's like because the new WWE game is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I will be day one purchasing that game whenever it comes out.
The AEW game?
Yep.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I guess they're putting a lot of New Japan people in the Creator Wrestler.
Oh, I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't. You know what I mean? But then again, they've always done that though. That was always like a, even those old. I mean, I know like the No Mercy and the
That's
WrestleMania 2000.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Like those, like I know that's the kind of engine that they're going for.
Right. Yep. Exactly.
And same thing with the Creator Wrestler was like you could make Masawa and Vader and Muda and Sting and all these guys and. It was easy because that's pretty much what the game was based on. So it's like if you're
doing the exact same thing. Mm-hmm.